Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'll be doing another KTRT review, and the robot I've got today is basically it's an older toy from season 2 of Hello Carbot, but it's a toy that I've up until now I've overlooked and haven't decided to get, and the reason being is because it's just a big glorified one-step changer, and I didn't really want to get it. But then, as you saw in my last KTRT review, I got hold of this guy, Beat Run, and he's from season 5, the latest season of Hello Carbots, and he's basically a one-step changer himself. He's got, as I showed, he's got hardly any articulation. He's got shoulders and elbows, and that's all he's got in terms of articulation. He has got some guns, which you can put on his shoulder or you can put in his hand, so he can sort of hold his guns, and that's about all the posability you can do with it. And I did the review as an example to show how I think the design and engineering on toys for the Hello Carbot toy line is going downhill, is being ruined, because they're simplifying the toys that they make to make them more appealing to the younger generation of children, and it's taking away from their toy line what I liked about them in the first place. But this is by no means the first time that we've seen leader class scale one-step changes. Oh no, we go back to season 2, and they introduced a trio of bots that all had a quick change gimmick, and they were Knight, Rook and Pone. Now I say Pone because the guy's name is open to interpretation, because I think, well, Knight and Rook, they're like names of a chess pieces, so the third guy must be called Pawn. Now in the English he should be called Pawn, Knight, Rook and Pawn. Now we all know pawn, depending on which way you spell it, means a number of different things. It can also mean the smallest piece on a chessboard, but it can also mean, it has other untoward meanings. So, but the Koreans, and I've noticed this with other KTRT toys that I've bought, some of their names are open to interpretation. Like what was he called? The blue bus former, the triple changer, Road Saber. Yeah, he was also, I call him Road Saber, but he was also called Load Saver. So depending on the translation, I mean, sometimes the translations vary from point to point, and you get something different. But anyway, so I hadn't gone for these 3 quick changing bots from season 2 before, because the main reason being is, one, they're leader class scale bots. They're basically glorified one-step changers that are leader class scale, and the prices they were asking for them, they were asking like 45, 50 quid, and I could not justify spending 45, 50 quid for what is essentially a leader class one-step changer. I just couldn't do it. And also, out of the 3 designs, there is one of them that is particularly ugly, both in car and in robot mode, so I'm steering clear of him altogether. But the other 2 were not too bad. I mean, Knight is a red cart turned into a red robot. He seemed to have more articulation than the others put together, especially in his upper torso. I mean, they've got nothing on the legs, but he for some reason, his price is still around the sort of 50-55 mark. So until he comes down in price, I am not going to go for him. But I've noticed that Pone, or Phone, or Pawn, or whatever you want to call him, has come down in price to sub £40 level. So I've actually gone ahead and I've got him. So yeah, so I thought I'd show the box off, because let's face it, this robot hasn't got a lot going for it. So this will be a very short review otherwise, so I'm trying to pad it out a bit. Yeah, so here he is in his box. Let's just get him out. And it's the typical sort of Korean box, lots of hangle all over it, lots of cool artwork. And if you look on the back, it's got the other 2. That's Knight and that's Rook. Now I don't know if you can see that police car that he's got. It's absolutely hideous, and the robot mode is just as bad. But anyway, let's just get him out. So here he is, and obviously he comes packaged in his robot mode. Now in the show, the CGI model of this guy is really cool because he's got a lot of moulded detail on his legs and on his chest, and in the show this is really picked out with his CGI model, and he does look pretty cool. But as a toy, there's not much you can say about him. He looks great, nice and colourful. Obviously, I've got a thing for the colour orange, so you know he's a big orange and white robot, so he's pretty cool. He's got some blue and yellow highlights and some bits of black and some silver, so he's a good looking bot. But articulation, nothing on the legs. I mean, they're spring loaded. They're spring loaded, so there's nothing on the legs. On the arms, he's got ratcheted elbows that go to 90 degrees, and that's it. So if he had a gun, which he hasn't got any weapon, he could hold a gun. I mean, we can give him one of it just about goes in there, so he can hold one of Beat Run's guns. But so yeah, he has got a ball jointed head, though you've got these two pieces either side of his head, so it does restrict the movement slightly. It's got a little bit of waggle, but that's the robot mode, and he's pretty clean. He's got a lot of car kibble sort of hanging off. I mean, his legs are just the back ends of the car, and he's got the doors hanging off the back of his arms, and the roof is on the back of his thing, and the front of the car is on his shoulders. So you know, it's a fairly typical robot. Now he has got these little foot flaps. Now you have to pull these out when you transform him into robot mode, because if you don't, he won't stand up, because you've got these spring-loaded pegs on the bottom, which is part of his transformation gimmick. That it means he won't stand up. Now to get him into car mode, now everything's spring-loaded on this guy, so let's do it this way. Now close that together, and then there's these little things here which need to spring into place, and then you have this spring-loaded flap, which is pretty powerful. So push them together, and then you slide them up, and then you bring this round, clip it into place, and then obviously fold up the foot flaps. And there he is back into car mode. Now, car, as you can see, is this very curvy looking sports car. Kind of got a Bugatti Veyron sort of, you know, slope, well, curve to it, I suppose. It seems to be a coupe. I don't know if it's got any doors in the back, but it doesn't seem to be. I mean, it's a pretty tidy car otherwise. Got these black things down the side. It's got silver wheels, which do look kind of small actually for the size of car. Blacked out windows at the top, black lights in the front, but you know, it's a good looking car. And then underneath, obviously, it's robot all screwed up. But the transformation is quite interesting because it's spring loaded, because you have these little pegs at the back, and then you just go and then he springs open. Now I think the idea is you're supposed to hit him against a surface. You're supposed to get him and then go, you know, like that onto a hard surface. Yeah, it springs open. Again, you've got to open up the foot flaps if you want him to stand upright. But that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Now, again, glorified one-step changer. It's got an automatic transformation thing, you know, gimmick, spring-loaded, and it springs open. All three of them had this, though. Well, actually, Knight doesn't have so much a spring-loaded transformation. You just sort of have to pull him open. But Knight, I mean, Pone and Rook do have this spring-loaded transformation gimmick. Again, even though I paid just under 40 quid for this, I still think it was, you know, a little bit pricey considering what you're getting. Yes, he's a big figure. I mean, let's do the size comparison with And as you can see, he's a solid leader class size. Yeah, and obviously having a size comparison next to Beat Run is exactly the same size. But yeah, not a brilliant toy, to be honest. I mean, I'm sure for a young child, you know, the fact that it automorphs, brilliant, absolutely fantastic. It's a big chunky figure, it's very durable, it's got the nice shiny Korean plastic on it. Where was this one made? It's made in China. But yeah, no, in those respects it's alright, but for me, an adult collector, you know, I want something that has got, you know, got working knees and hips and elbows and, you know, stuff like that. You know, I like to see stuff like that. And they could quite easily have engineered hips, you know, bicep swivels and knees into this and still had the automorph gimmick. They could have done it, but they didn't. They could have, you know, given workable shoulders. They could have put a, you know, put a mushroom peg or a pivot in here so you can actually have working shoulders. But they didn't. They just, it was a toy built around a gimmick, as we've seen in Transformers, where you get, you know, power battlers, one-step changes, that sort of thing. You know, they're all built around a gimmick, and that's what this guy is. A shame that, you know, the prices they go for is they're still quite high. You don't seem to be able to get a hold of Rook anymore. I mean, I notice when I do search for, you know, Hello Carbot toys on eBay, it's usually, you know, Pone and Knight who come up, but not Rook. Not that I want Rook, because Rook's a load of rubbish. But yeah, there he is. Hello Carbot's Pone. Phone, whatever you want to call him. I suppose he's okay, but not really my thing. I mean, I still bought him, but there we go. So, there you go. That's been my review of that. I've got another KTRT on the way. I don't know when it's going to get here, probably next week. Don't know, we'll have to see. But I'll do that review as and when it happens. But until then, I'll catch you all next time. I've been TFI Wilderness. Ta-da.